Hello and welcome year 8 to today's comprehension lesson titled Sam and the Globe. I hope that by the end of the comprehension everything will be clear and you'll be able to answer the questions with ease. So let's get to it. Sam and the Globe. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre on London's Bankside is the dream child of the American actor Sam Wanamaker and the result of a surprise discovery he made during a stay in London shortly after the Second World War. Alright, so it was the dream. It was like a dream where a dream came true of the actor who Sam Wanamaker. On a very brief visit in 1949, Wanamaker asked to be taken to the site of the original Globe Theatre. He was driven to a small side street on Southwark where there was a discolored blue plaque attached to a brewery wall bearing the legend, "Here stood the Globe Playhouse of Shakespeare, 1598-1613." Okay, he was driven when he asked to be taken to the original Globe Theatre. He was driven to a small side street, not even a main street in Southwark, where he saw a discolored, pale, and old plaque. Plaque is like a tablet made of porcelain or made of metal that you attach to commemorate like a person or an event that happened. So what was written on the plaque? "Here stood the Globe Playhouse of Shakespeare." He was told that the plaque was unveiled in 1909 by Sir Henry Beerbohm Tree, a leading Shakespeare actor of the time. He was astonished. "Is that it?" he asked a taxi driver, thunderstruck. Wanamaker could not get this oversight out of his mind. He could not get what happened. What had happened, this thing, this mistake, how people overlooked this out of his mind. And for over the next 40 years, from when he returned to live in London the following year until his death in 1994, he made it his life's mission to recreate Shakespeare's Globe. The original Globe Theatre had burned down in 1613 when a cannonball fired during a performance of Henry VIII had landed on the thatched roof, setting fire to it and starting a blaze that burned the largely wooden structure down within a few hours. Thatched roof is like a kind of roof that's made out of straw, so it's very flammable. A cannonball fired during a performance and it ended up burning the whole structure. Fortunately, no one was killed and the theater was built the following year with a tiled roof. By that time, however, Shakespeare himself had retired. He'd stopped working to live in Stratford-upon-Avon. Sam Wanamaker was incensed that all around the world, he was mad. Why? That all around the world, replica Globe theaters existed, but here in England, Shakespeare's birthplace, there were none. He was mad there were replica. A replica is like a copy of something, an imitation of something. They were all over the world. How couldn't there be a replica where Shakespeare was born? Terrier-like, Sam persisted and eventually won his argument. He insisted, he persisted, he didn't give up. And eventually he won his argument not only to have a replica theater built, but for it to be as close to the original design as possible, including having a thatched roof. There had long been a ban on the use of thatch on roofs in London. Why? To try to avoid the rapid spread of fire from one building to another. The first banning seems to have come in the Ordinance of 1212. However, modern sprinkler systems, the sprinklers, like small systems, you use them to water your gardens. There's like small water systems in your garden, for example, or they can be used to put out a fire in this case. However, modern sprinkler systems meant that Sam and his architect, Theo Crosby, were eventually granted or allowed planning permission to use both thatch and green oak in the rebuilding of the Globe Theatre. Sam devoted the last 20 years of his life entirely to the Globe, only returning to acting or directing when the project needed funds. For example, his appearance in Superman as David Warfield, Clark Kent's boss and newspaper editor, was purely only to earn money for the Globe. The actor Mike Rylance, who a whole new generation know as the BFG, was the first artistic director, and together they worked to raise money and support from the public and the theater profession to realize the dream, to make the dream come true. Make the theater a reality and plan the first season. So he had people working with him, right? They had different jobs. What did Sam do? Did Sam return back to acting? Did he return back to acting only for specific reasons when he needed something? All of these are questions that we should think of while reading. Sadly, Sam didn't live to see that season. Too bad. They were working so hard to plan and make a reality of the first season. But sadly, Sam didn't live to see that season, dying in 1994, just before the first open air performances were staged in the Hatfield Theatre in 1995. The finished theater was opened properly in 1997 with a performance of A Comedy of Errors. Okay. Today, Globe performances are usually sold out, with the cheapest tickets still being at £5 and with audiences coming from literally all over the world: the USA, Canada, Australia, China, and Europe. There are 500 standing tickets and 1,500 seated for approximately 14 performances per week for 26 weeks per year for 22 years. All of these add up to a very large audience: 500 standing tickets and 1,500 seated for approximately 14 performances per week for 26 weeks per year for 22 years add up to a very large audience. In addition, Globe Education provides free workshops and performances for schools in Southwark and across the country, which means that new generations are benefiting and will continue to benefit from Sam's dream. Even though he didn't live to see it, but it still lives on to our day. Okay, guys, I hope everything was clear and understood. Okay, if you have any question, like I said, contact me immediately and ask anything. Feel free. So answer the following questions with a full sentence, full answers. So you have from questions 1 all to 11. This question, the question after 11, it says, explain the following words. Try to infer the meaning of the words from their context. Now, if you listen carefully to my explanation, you'll be able to understand what these words mean. Don't use a dictionary. When we're inferring, we try to understand the word from the context, from where it's at, from the passage. Are they talking about a good thing? Are they talking about a bad thing? What are they describing? Then we can understand what exactly is meant by the word. Okay, so through our discussion, through my explanation, you will be able to get an idea and be able to understand it. Read carefully. If you still can't make it out, read it again. Read it. Read the sentence before. Read the sentence after it. Eventually, you'll get it. Okay. So, teacher's feedback. This section is mine. Then we have the written work. It says, write a story about someone who refuses to give up on a dream because of their determination and manages to achieve it. Okay, on a dream and because of their determination manages to achieve it. Okay. What should we do? Use descriptive writing and literary devices in our writing and make a clear plan before we begin. Write at least 5 paragraphs and you'll be marked. It'll be out of 20. You'll be marked for content plus 10 marks for spelling, punctuation. It'll be marked, out of 30. Excuse me. Okay, so it's 30 marks, 20 marks for content, which is very, very, very important, plus 10 marks for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Okay, so descriptive writing, we use our senses. What did I see? What did I hear? What did I feel? What did I taste? We use our senses when we are writing descriptively, and we use literary devices, right? We use similes, we use metaphors, we use personification. Now we've taken this in our previous years. I will explain it again, inshallah, in the following lessons. But similes is when you're comparing between two things, like you were saying, she smelled as nice as a flower, or the man was as strong as an ox, Okay, she's as beautiful as her mother. Okay, similes and metaphors are also very close to similes, but they're even stronger than similes. If you say life is a roller coaster, you're not saying life is like a roller coaster. You're saying life is a roller coaster. That's it's making it even stronger. You don't literally mean life is a roller coaster, right? What you mean is that it has ups and downs like a roller coaster. Personification, when you give a human attributes, characteristics to non-living things or for animals. Okay, so we have similes, we have onomatopoeia, which is like when you say knock knock, right? When you give a sound, it's basically the name of a sound, right? Okay, when you say knock knock or bang or boom or all of the animal sounds like meow or ba, all of this is onomatopoeia. So try to incorporate that in your descriptive writing, okay, to create a more and more vivid image, and hopefully nothing will be difficult, inshallah. Practice makes perfect, okay? That is about it for this work. So what you should do is from questions 1 up to the written work in page 7, okay? And don't forget to plan. Remember, planning makes your life a whole lot easier. When you plan, your writing will be a lot more organized and it'll be easier for you to write. Okay? Thank you for watching and see you next lesson.